Okay, the first challenge we've got is a island in the middle of the road. So is OpenPilot gonna see this? Hey guys, so today I thought it would be fun to go out and give OpenPilot a little bit of a challenge to perform. About 4 months ago, I tested OpenPilot on laneless roads, so driving through a neighborhood without any lane lines whatsoever. And that was on version 0.6.4. So today I thought it'd be interesting to go see how OpenPilot has improved. I haven't really tested this in a while, and now we're on version 0.7.2. So I thought it would be interesting to see how OpenPilot can do now that the model has been updated several times and possibly it has improved in this area of driving. So what we're going to do today is go to a neighborhood that I have never tested OpenPilot in, and as far as I know, the model has never been trained on any of these roads. So it's kind of a clean slate test to see how it does. And from what I've seen on Google Maps, it looks like there's a few challenges, some hills, some obstacles that will be interesting. So we're going to go there now and we'll just pick back up when I get to the neighborhood. Alright guys, so we've gotten to the neighborhood that we're going to test the laneless driving in. And so I'm pulling in. And I'm just going to go ahead and set OpenPilot. The speed limit here is about 25 miles per hour. So I'm going to set it to 25 miles per hour on the factory speedometer. So we'll run a little bit slow. But here we are, we're going. So there are no lane lines. There's nothing besides the edge of the road and what OpenPilot sees ahead of it to indicate that we are on a road. So it's just using the ground truth right here, basically. And so far so good. Okay, the first challenge we've got is a island in the middle of the road. So is OpenPilot gonna see this? It's going to the right. It's going to the left. All right, we made it. So there you go. First challenge done pretty well. Alright, so just a few ground rules. Basically, the only times I'm going to take over is if I feel like OpenPilot needs me to take over. And then besides that, when we come up to stop signs, there's a couple stop signs that I saw that I'll have to stop at. If there's people in the road, people walking, there's no sidewalk here. So just to be safe, I'm going to put my hand on the wheel in any of those areas. And obviously, if there's parked cars, I will need to go around those because it may just stop behind them. So it'll be easier to just kind of navigate it around a stopped car. But here, as you can see as I'm talking to you, it is still doing an amazing job of navigating this road. So here we're coming up to the first stop sign, so I'm just going to hit the brakes and disengage. Come to a quick stop. Let off the brake, re-engage, and let OpenPilot continue. So the last time I tested this, it seemed to just really sway, and it really wanted to go kind of to the center of the road. Now it seems to really want to stay more to the right, so it's doing a much better job of like staying in its lane, despite there not being a lane line here. So I find this really interesting that it seems to have improved a bit on sticking to a side of the road. So here we have a stopped car, so I'm just going to nudge us over to make sure we go around it and don't stop behind it. And then bring us back into our lane and let OpenPilot resume. Okay, here we have a curb and an intersection. But OpenPilot doesn't have a problem turning. So far so good. So far I wouldn't really say that OpenPilot has made a mistake. Alright, so I'm stopping here for a stop sign. And then once again we'll just hit resume and let OpenPilot do its thing. So now we're coming up to where there's some hills and some turns. So this is kind of new. I haven't tested laneless in a hilly area, So it'll be interesting to see if it can perform okay here. So really the top of this hill is pretty blind. And so far so good. OpenPilot slowed down just a little bit. It's running really close to the edge of the road. I'm just gonna take over just for a second and let it go. It was just riding really close to the edge, so that was one place that it wasn't doing that great, but it was kind of limited there. We were coming over a hill. It was hard for it to see where the road was. It was kind of blind. You know, as a human, you use a lot of intuition to see over a blind hill or assume what's over a blind hill, and OpenPilot really doesn't have that capability yet. It can only predict so much if it can't see the road ahead. So I'll say there was one place I had to take over. So far we've driven quite a ways, and I've basically taken over once to correct OpenPilot. Now we're going up a hill again and turning, and it seems to be handling this just fine. Oh, it was running close to the edge again, so I just grabbed the wheel for a second. Here it's actually hitting the torque steer limit. And now we're actually kind of running to the left side. So I'll let it do this for a little bit, but if I need to correct it, I will put it back over into the right lane. So we'll see how it handles this turn. This is like a really tight turn. And yeah, see, now we've ended up all the way over to the left side. So is it gonna stay over here? No, it's kind of correcting itself. All right, we're back in our lane. So yeah, like I said, since there's no lane line for it to see to tell it which side of the road it's on, it's kind of going to use everything that's a road ahead of it at this point. There, it's running really close to the edge of the road. I'm just gonna keep it on. I don't know why it wanted to run so close to the edge of the road there. But right here we're passing some people and a stopped car, so I'm just going to help it around the stopped car for just a second. And then I can let go and let OpenPilot resume. So I think I've had 3 scenarios where it just seemed to run close to the edge of the road. Now, would it eventually correct itself onto the road? Probably. But, you know, like I said, this isn't really what it's made to do. I'm kind of just testing the limits of the system beyond what, you know, it's really designed for at this point. And I'm just going to stop at this stop sign. And we'll continue. But for like a kind of peek at the inner workings of the model and how it's trying to predict in areas where it's uncertain, just passing somebody, so I'm just gonna keep it over here to this side. But yeah, to see how the model is predicting driving with areas that it has no lane lines for reference, this is kind of a good way to see that, right? Okay, I'm just passing some walkers. Now I've of course got somebody behind me that's probably wondering why I'm driving the speed limit through the neighborhood, but you know, that's okay. Alright, so we're coming up to a stop sign again. So I'm just going to stop real quick and then hit resume. And we'll keep going. Alright, so I think I've really had like maybe 3 areas that OpenPilot has had some issues. And it was basically just a couple of them were in some tighter turns. And here I'm just taking over a little bit just because there's a car behind me. I don't want them to get too concerned, and I'm passing somebody right now. But we're right at the end of the neighborhood. So here the road splits, but OpenPilot is taking the correct turn. So that's it. We just drove through this neighborhood. I'll have to look up how many miles it is, and I'll put that here. Okay guys, so that was it. That was OpenPilot driving on laneless roads. So roads with no lane lines whatsoever, just using the vision model to determine the path ahead. And I'd say it did a pretty good job, but I'd like for you guys to leave your opinion of how OpenPilot did in the comments. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to test or any other challenges like this you'd like to see me do. And I will consider those for future videos. So that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.